If you are a young man watching this video and you don't know your purpose or your mission in life, then I'm telling you right now, you need to discover it as soon as possible because your life depends on it. To put it as simple as possible, your mission is why you are here. You have no other purpose besides that. If you aren't attending to your mission, then you are just lost and drifting through life, right? You're not putting any effort into anything. You don't have a reason to be here if you aren't going all in on your reason to be here. Every man's sole focus in life should be their purpose. No, it shouldn't be attending to the needs of their families or to their siblings or to their mom or to their dad or to their girlfriend or wife or whatever. That is not your purpose. That is not why you are here. Of course, yes, you are supposed to love your family and your wife, but they don't come first in your life. You will not be fulfilled as a man if you are putting more effort into them than you are into yourself and your own mission. That's not a man thing to do. A man thing does things for himself, and regardless of what other people think. So like I said, if you don't know your purpose and you're not pursuing it, then you are lost and just drifting through life. You are adapting to events rather than creating events. This is what I mean. So an example of a normal person in life who isn't going all in on their purpose and they don't know what their truest purpose is. They're just working like a typical 9-to-5 job, you know? So a normal person planning his day for tomorrow will be thinking,
it's already 2 a.m. and I should probably wake up at maybe, let's say, probably around 8 o'clock because I have to get a decent amount of sleep, and 6 hours of sleep is enough for most people. It's enough for most people. And then I have to wake up by 8 because then it takes me a long time to get ready because I have to do the Ashton Hall morning routine because apparently that's supposed to help me live a better life even though I still feel just so depressed. And then I have to go to my typical loserish 9-to-5 job getting paid minimum wage just to stay afloat in life. So then I'll be in my job from 9 to 5 and I do get a lunch break. I probably could be productive and read a book or something, but instead I'm just going to scroll on Instagram and then I'm going to continue to work my 9-to-5 job for another man and I'm slaving away for another person who doesn't give a shit about me. But that's okay because I just have to make ends meet, right? And then I'll get off of my job at 5 o'clock and then I have to go to that doctor's appointment and then I have to go get groceries. After that I have to spend all the money that I just made today on my groceries and I'll probably have to get some gas as well because sometimes I get depressed and then I just drive around in my car the whole night and I spend a lot of gas that way. And then I go home and I watch the new Stranger Things season that just came out because I got to keep up on that, you know, even though it's fictional, it has no relevancy to my life, but you know, I still have to keep up with it. And then I'll probably scroll on my phone again until 2 a.m. and then I'll probably do the next thing tomorrow.
that is what a normal person does, right? He is adapting to events rather than creating his own. So he's trying to fit in all these different side tasks that aren't really that important around his 9-to-5 job that he has to slave away at for another person, not even for himself. That is the mindset of a normal person, and honestly, it's like one of the most degenerate and loserish things that you can ever have in life. But that is what happens when you don't discover your purpose and when you don't go all in on it, is that you end up becoming this slave rat, this loser that has to put aside his own goals and his own purpose and his own needs for another person, for his boss who doesn't care about him at all, or for his coworkers who don't care about him at all. He's not making a significant difference in life. He's just coasting through, making ends meet barely. Most people are in freaking debt too, so they're not even making ends meet. That is not the person that you want to become. I don't know about you, but I hear that and I see people every single day, and I do not want to become a normal person. I do not want to become a work slave. And so for people who do know their purpose and people that make their own plans, instead of adapting to events, like I said, they create their own events. So like for me, I'm in the beginning stages of my business, right? Of my videos, of my self-improvement business. But once it starts to take off, then I have more time for more things, right? I won't be working, you know, my part-time job anymore. This would be my full-time job. And so like a typical day for me in the future will be me waking up and recording these videos, having a 5-hour long work block of recording and editing videos, getting them all done for the week so that then I don't have to work on these for the rest of the week, right? And so I do that for 5 hours and then, you know, I go work out for an hour and a half, maybe even 2 hours, and then I eat a clean meal after, and then I gratitude journal or meditate or just journal. And then I read and educate myself, and then I go hang out with people and have dinner with them, and then I come back home at the earliest time, like 8 o'clock, 8:30. And then I start settling down for the night, and I plan what I have to do tomorrow, and then I go to sleep at like 10:30ish. See how with that life you are creating your own events. You are the one in charge of your own life, instead of you having to adjust and evolve around your 9 to 5 for another person. That is not the life that I want, nor is that the life that you should want either. Because there was a time where I didn't think your purpose was important. I just thought that this is life, you just slave away for another person, barely make ends meet, go home and watch the TV show, eat junk food, and like that's it. That is not the point of life. That is not what you deserve. First and foremost, you do not deserve to be working for another person. You are your own person. You're supposed to be working for you and for no one else. And you might think,
oh, well, once you know your purpose and you go all in on it and you try to make a business out of it, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to succeed, Like, not everybody succeeds.
Yes, that's partially true, but that's not the correct mindset to have. And also, when you know your purpose and you're going all in on it, it changes everything. Just very quickly, if you don't know who I am, my name is Matthew, and I help men's mental health improve. And I know no one likes these, subscribe and comment and notifications and everything part, but I kind of have to, so I'm just going to do it real quick. Subscribe and comment and turn on the notification bell and like and all that shit, because it helps me, it helps my channel improve, and I'm trying to reach as many men as possible. So if you could do that, I'd really appreciate it. I'm trying to reach 100 subscribers by the end of the year. When this video is coming out, I'm at 30 subscribers. Let's try to get it to 100 by the end of the year. Okay, back to the video. Consuming does not equal living. Producing equals living. A lot of people consume their 9 to 5 job. They just think that it's something that they have to do, whether they like it or not. They feel like it's something that is forced onto them and that they have no way out of it, that they have to become this 9 to 5 rat for their whole lives. And that's why a lot of men are depressed. A lot of people like to indulge in junk food. They like to consume the junk food all day. That's why you are depressed and your mental health sucks. A lot of people like to watch TV all day and watch these reality shows, because those shows are more interesting than their own lives. That's consuming and not producing. You're consuming media. A lot of people like to scroll on TikTok all day, watch YouTube videos all day. That is consuming. They are not producing anything. When you consume and consume, that doesn't lead to anything deep. It's just something that comes and goes. It's instant gratification. And we all know that instant gratification is not the way of life. That's not how you're supposed to live. Delayed gratification. When you produce something, that doesn't mean you're going to have automatic success, right? If I post this YouTube video out, I'm not going to get 1 million views just like that. It's going to take time, and it's going to take a lot of steps and maybe even a couple of years for my videos to start hitting. That is delayed gratification. The success will come eventually, maybe, but it's not going to be right now. With working out, you don't see your physique change after your first workout. It takes like a month, and then you start to get a little bit more toned. Then it takes a year, and your body starts to go through some pretty good changes. But if you want to reach your dream physique, that's going to take years of working out. Maybe even like 10 years, because that's sometimes what it takes for a lot of people. It may take a long time and you're not going to see results immediately, but it is producing. You're producing a better physique. I am producing these videos to try to help people. You see the difference? You see how when you produce things, you are actually living and you are putting actual effort and dedication into something that is important to you, rather than consuming, which is you giving yourself easy, quick dopamine things just to feel a little bit better about your pathetic self. That's a huge difference. So a lot of people think, if you find your purpose and you go all in on it, try to make a business out of it like I am, that doesn't mean you're going to be successful. That doesn't mean you're going to be financially stable. It doesn't mean you're going to have a successful business, which is true. But the people who say that have never experienced what pursuing their purpose actually feels like. They probably haven't even discovered their purpose, and so they don't know what the heck they're talking about. Once you know your purpose, you will be fulfilled, and you will feel free and just alive. whether you are successful or not. That's the thing about purpose. That's why there's so many like broke musicians and so many broke artists, because they love what they do. And it's not about the money. It's not about how much money they can gain from this. I'm not in this business for the money. I'm in it to genuinely help men, because I know that a lot of men's mental health sucks, just like how mine did. And I don't want them to go through the same things that I went through. And so I teach these lessons trying to get them ahead and to give them a heads up about what is to come, and to share with them the answers that I've learned the hard way. Once you know your purpose, you will be fulfilled and determined and uncomfortable even, which is a good thing, because again, you're not going to have a stable business at the start, right? There's gonna be times where you're broke. There's gonna be times where you gain a little bit of money, but then you go back to maybe being a little bit broke again. Who knows? And it makes you uncomfortable. Like me posting these videos sometimes makes me uncomfortable, because I don't know how people are gonna react. It's a good thing to be uncomfortable though. And once you know your purpose, you're gonna be passionate and driven. That's the purpose of life. That's what you want to feel when you are going through this life. Once you know your purpose, instead of you having a hard time going to sleep because you are stressed about the things that you have to do tomorrow, instead of that, you will have a hard time going to sleep because you are so excited about what you have to do tomorrow. Like one day out of the week, I'll record, 3 or 4 videos within like 2 hours. And that's my content for the whole week, right? And so then I'm pretty much done working for this week. But I love recording these videos. This is the best part of my job. I love recording the videos. I love teaching. And so last night I was having a hard time going to sleep because I wanted to start recording already. I wanted to record, but it was like 11 and I needed to go to sleep to wake up early to do these videos. I was just so excited for today. Like I was going to sleep literally with a smile on my face because of how excited I was. That is what happens when you have a purpose and when you are going all in on your purpose. When you know your purpose, you wake up excited and ready to start the day, ready to start working on your business, start attending to your purpose. You'll wake up excited and ready instead of the normal person who wakes up all anxious and sluggish because they're not looking forward to working for another person who doesn't care about them. And I genuinely believe this as well. I think that men not knowing their purpose, and even if they do know their purpose, when they don't go all in on their purpose, I think that is one of the biggest reasons as to why men battle depression nowadays. I know that when I was in high school, when I was battling depression, I was just coasting through life with no purpose and no aim. I was just consuming stuff. I was consuming media, consuming what the world gave to me. I wasn't putting anything into the world. I wasn't pursuing anything. There's a bunch of other factors as to why I was depressed, but that right there was like one of the biggest reasons as to why I was. It's because I had no purpose. When you have no purpose, then what the heck are you doing here, It's like there's no reason for you to be here. If you're not putting anything out into the world to try to help the world, then there's no point for you to be here, really. So with the way that I was living in high school, I was consuming rather than producing. And so I was living a very bad life. I was eating junk food. I was just on my phone all day. I was having all these anxious and depressing thoughts and having panic attacks every single night. I'm not even joking. Every single night I would have a panic attack because of how anxious I was. I wasn't working out. I wasn't reading. I wasn't educating myself. But this is the thing when you discover your purpose as well. When you discover your purpose and you go and you are pursuing it, you will conform the way you live your life solely to your purpose. You will start to minimize distractions. So the difference between me now and how I was in high school is, high school I was consuming, now I am producing. And so nowadays I am eating healthier. I'm not perfect at it by no means, but I am eating healthier. I'm making my own food instead of just eating the junk food that I would eat in high school. I am meditating. I am gratitude journaling. I'm journaling instead of being on my phone all day and consuming media. I'm working out. I am reading. I'm educating myself. I'm making these videos. I have a purpose. I have a will. I'm driven to make these videos to try to help other people and also to help myself because it's a give and take, right? I help myself By that way, I help others. And by helping others, I help myself. It's kind of it's a mutual relationship. And so nowadays, I don't consume a lot of media like how I used to. I'll watch videos about self-improvement stuff to try to educate myself, but I'm not watching Mr. Beast videos every single day, you know? I'm not eating junk food every day like I used to. I'm not being sluggish. I'm not trying to catch up on different shows. I am attending to my own life, and my life is conforming around my purpose. I'm doing things to help me stay close to my purpose. That is what happens when you are pursuing your purpose. Your life will you'll change your actions naturally because your actions are now revolving around your purpose. So you need to discover your purpose, because that is your mission as a man. That is why you are here, is to go all in on your purpose and your mission. So right now you might be convinced, if you've watched this far into the video, you might be convinced that you need to attend your purpose fully. But you might think, okay, but how do I find my purpose? And that is one of the next videos I'm going to post. I'm not sure which one, but it'll be a video coming out soon. So if you want to stay tuned for that, you will. It's going to be about how to find your purpose and how you need to go all in on it. Man, I am butchering this ending. Yeah, so if you can subscribe, that'd be awesome. Trying to reach 100 subscribers by the end of the year. My name is Matthew, and I'll see you next time.